If you cannot save, the seeds of greatness are not in you. Today I'm going to talk about savings, how it really should be approached. I've spoken to many people who were not able to start say a savings habit, or even if they started, they did leave that over a period of time and they were not able to continue it. So this is a topic that I always wanted to talk about, and this is the first one that I'm addressing on my personal channel. This is what I've learned throughout my experiences, how to start a saving habit. I've made my own notes over here. I'll try to present it in the best way possible. So what is important with savings is you want the physical savings in reality, the cash, the liquid, whatever you want. The physical reality will only come into play if you have a mental equivalent first. And how do you start the mental equivalent? The first point is set a goal. So whatever is the amount, it really doesn't matter. The point is setting up a goal is very, very important. You can just simply take a simple notepad or a notebook. Yeah, this is something that I had bought, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, 13 years ago when I first came to the UK. And yeah, this from Poundland. I think they used to sell 3 for a pound. Now I have one of the best books, Pooka pads and all the branded books. But that is where I started, I remember. The saving goals did help me a lot. I set goals in different areas, but today I'm going to focus on the saving goals per se. So first is you really need to it's a very simple process of writing down a goal. Pick up a book, a notepad, a paper. Even if I have a lot of writing material here, it can be a pad. Write this, even used paper, even you can reuse it. So if you see, I always reuse my paper. I have my notes here, I'm reusing it, it's printed, it's used for some other reason. I avoid wasting paper to save the trees, the environment side, etc. But to focus on the topic, firstly you should start with setting up a goal. A simple goal would be I save X amount. Let's say I save 10 pounds per month. I'm in the UK, so I'll refer to the currency in pounds. Wherever you are in the world, you can match it with your currency, set any number. One of the important formulas that always works that I have seen is, if I'll just take some numbers and explain it over here. So if you just set up a goal saying I save X amount, whatever that is, it can be, let's say, 10 pounds in my case per month. You can increase it to whatever number it is. The best number that I'm always asked it is the 10% formula, which every author talks about. Let me take an example. If your income, disposable income, or whatever net income after taxes, let's say it is 1000 pounds or whatever is your currency, your final goal is to save at least 10%. But in the beginning, you can start with just 1%. So if taking it in number terms, if your income is 1000 pounds, the 10% goal that you have is to save 100 per month, but you start with at least 10 per month. This is doable. Everyone can do 1%. If not 1%, maybe 0.5%, 0.2%. So maths experts over there. So this is the first point. This is very, very important. If this does not happen, nothing on this physical side is going to happen. I can guarantee you that it will never happen. This is the mental equivalent that I'm referring to. You have to something, even if whether you don't have anything in physical saved, but the mental equivalent should be there. You set it up once, and then after that you can either just write it down, as I said, in the notepad. The best would be if you are able to write down this goal every day on one single piece of paper. You can use different pages, or even in the past I had one of the ways that I went was I used to always buy these diaries for the whole year. You can also buy last year's diaries, which are cheap or something, if you want to, and use every day's page, and then just write the goal. That is the best process that you can start the goals. Writing the goals would be, or if not every day, at least once. So these are the options you can have. You can write down the goals, write down either every day or if not every week, if not every month. So these are the different frequencies that you can try and write down your goals. Every day is the best one that works, I've seen. You can write it every week, once, any day. You select your own day, your time of the day, it doesn't matter. Every month. Worst case scenario, even if you cannot do that, just write it once and then forget about it. So just write this once and throw the paper anywhere in your cupboard and just let it sit there. That also works, but the more often you write the goals, it helps. That's what I've seen. This is the mental equivalent side of things. This is very, very important. Once this is done, you will see you don't need to. This is what our brains are quite smart enough. We do not give much credit to our brains. Once you have this goal, the more often you revisit it. So that's where the planning, goal setting. So this is the goals, then you plan and you organize. So these are the three. Set goals, plan and organize. So that's what you do. When you keep on repeatedly writing it, you keep on planning it. Basically, you will write it in different way, different numbers. Your brain will try and get to the best number possible, best way to achieve it. What will happen? You will see a behavioral change. For example, you will avoid any unnecessary expenses. You may stop buying cheaper things or try to compare things. Whatever, you may stop drinking the coffee, extra snack, whatever things are not required. Everyone has their own cravings, important things. For me, I know I do buy technological things. I have various things. I've got this new camera. My approach is different. Everyone will have their own approach. Some people like food, some people like coffee, some people like sweets, some people like digital things, technology, whatever that is. Whatever, it's not necessary which is the area. Your brain will start doing that. The only thing that you need to do is, if you just make a list of things what you do, this helps. If you don't do it, even if it works, I've seen that. So it can be food is one of the area, then traveling, leisure, etc., etc. Whatever that is, different aspects of your life, your brain knows it very well, you know it very well. Automatically you will see that just by writing the goals, that is the mental equivalent, your behavioral changes happen. They happen automatically. You don't have to worry about them. You don't have to actively try and do things. I've seen that myself do that. I've seen others do it. And then slowly you start seeing the physical results. So you can, the best way is, if you want, you can make a list of things where your money goes, your expenses go. Maybe split it across. Budgeting, this is where it works, where you do budgeting, and people say when you budget, you save, you manage well. So that is budgeting, is planning. So budgeting comes in the area of planning. You start planning it, you split it across, you see how much money goes where, different aspects, and that's where so this is one of the biggest approach to any problem. Once you define the problem well, this is how you define the problem. The planning aspect, when you budget, you define the problem, you state, you split across, and you write down all the pointers where the money is going, and accordingly you yourself will start see the behavioral change. You must write down goals, but I'm sure negative goals don't work. If you start writing a goal saying, I'm not going to drink this coffee, I know it doesn't work. Brains, the negative and positive things, that's a different topic to talk about, which I will cover under the goal setting aspect, what they should be. But then, yeah, so I don't think that works. But yes, definitely budgeting, tabulating, making a table, spreadsheet, etc., spreading across and just observing it, just giving your brain the input, that works out. I've seen that. If you go further and you try to cut down actively, that's fine, but anyways, you will see that you will start cutting down maybe the number of things that you do, number of times you spend, or the amount of money that you spend on a particular expense. It can be coffee, it can be food, it can be a computer, it can be education books, whatever that is, but everything is important in life. So that is for your own personal, yourself to decide. So I'm not going to say you should cut down on this or that or whatever that is, but whatever you feel is unnecessary can be reduced, can be taken out, can be downsized, whatever you can. Yes, it is possible. and then on this side, so as I came from this 1%, which is, let's say in my example, 10 pounds, the most important thing is, as soon as you see those 10 pounds, the first thing is try to automate. Right now you have all the technology in the world. I have different bank accounts. I have Vanguard account where automatically the funds go. I remember I had HL accounts, Hargreaves Lansdowne, that's an investment uh, like a broking company in the UK, and they have, I would see a lot of things on the app, and then yeah, so the decisions do change. One of the things that I've done is, if you try to take it out of sight, so that is very important. As soon as that amount, that number 10 pounds, it has to be out of sight. I have seen people struggle on this a lot. Many of my clients also. I am an immigration lawyer on the professional side, and when I see a lot of bank statements, so that is something that I have seen. Many times I see, if you have an X bank account, for example, whatever, Barclays, Santander, and you have the main account, current account, or checking account as it is called in the US, and savings account in India. So the main account, along with that you have those savings accounts also, where you are putting your savings. It's very important, it has to go out of sight, so you don't need to see it on that statement, whichever that is your main bank. One of the ways is to open different bank accounts and let it get into the other bank. One of the other ways, yeah, so if you have several bank accounts, maybe split it across, let that 10 pounds, take whatever number is right for you. I'm just taking the 10 as an example, and let it go every month. The important thing what you're trying to do is to build a habit. That's very important. So one important point is automate your savings. Because of this automation, you will see there are many apps. I see it every time whenever in the public transport, whenever I travel, there are always all these real startups coming into play where they have automated apps and all, will take the money and they will invest it somewhere. Investing, I will come down further. So at least the money has to go from your account to some other account. One very important caveat about, I understand there are many others who will always be proponent of losing the present value of money if you keep it in cash. If you don't understand investments, I understand investments. I was into investment banking. I understand all the things, all the models. But if you don't understand investing, don't invest. I have heard so many people investing all these, even all these cryptocurrencies, sometimes in funds and all, they don't even understand derivatives, which is a very complex matter. Yeah, I have worked in different areas. I do understand what a derivative is, credit derivatives, and all of those things. But then people who don't understand, they just try to, if you try to wing it, yeah, there are experts sitting over there who really study these topics in and out. They are observing the numbers. There are computers sitting doing all these things. So yeah, the only thing that I would request everyone is, if you don't understand investing, don't invest unless you understand whichever investment product you are getting into. The simple model of the rule of investing would be, wherever you are investing, one model is drip feeding. So drip feeding is the same way as saving every month, every 15 days, whatever that is. If you automatically put into that investment, whatever that product is, I'm not going to get into those products, but at this point in this video, I'm focusing on starting the habit of savings. So if you save that, worst case scenario, if you don't understand anything, let it sit in cash. Currently, as of today, savings rates are between 4 and 5%, or even more than that. So I know in the UK itself, I have a Marcus account. I remember there was one of her family friends, she came, I was helping her with the visas or something, and I saw a bank statement and she had saved considerable sums of money. And then I told her, why are you keeping it in the checking account, in the normal account, current account? And then I just suggested, and she opened the Marcus account. I think that is the easiest one that you can open. It's about at 4.65 or something over 4.5, I remember that. So even there are different bank accounts who are giving, I remember Marcus, which is a Goldman Sachs, is the main investment banking bank, and then they have that subsidiary they have opened in the UK, Marcus Bank. It's quite a safe bank, I know from my own career things. But even if that, the Bank of England is protecting all your monies in the UK banks. So I know Chase is another one which is giving a better rate. They are around 4 to between 4 and 5%, most of them 4.5, 4.65, 4.75, something like that. So those are the easy banks. They are all online banks and all. Their monies are protected. There are several others also. There are some, you can watch other, yeah. So there are some other credit, what they call it, some other small banks and all who are giving different. You can research it yourselves online and do. The worst case scenario, if you don't understand investment, just keep it in cash where it is safe. And yeah, 4 to 5% is the average rate going on. I even have a Santander Easy Access which is giving 5.08%, I think. But those are all limited, time limited, and all of those. There are different variables. If you don't understand anything, this is my best advice. Keep it in cash. I know people will talk about all those losing the present value of money and all those concepts, but right now you are just trying to build a habit of investing. That is very, very important. Even if out of the 10, if you lose one, that is not the point here. The point is of saving, having the mental equivalent, getting into a behavioral change which automatically happens, and then getting in the habit of saving. That is the important point I'm focusing on. What to do with that money is your problem. You decide. There will be other videos. I will get into the other sides of things, but for now I'm just assuming you'll keep it in cash. It goes into a separate account. Let it go and sit over there. You don't need to see into that account. Maybe once in a year you can look into that. All these monies into different banks in London at least are protected up to 85,000, I think, yeah, per bank account or per relationship that you have with them. So Marcus, Chase, there are others, yeah. So whichever bank you bank with, that is your decision. I'm not trying to promote any bank over here, but then yeah, there are possibilities where the important thing that I'm trying to pointing out is it should be out of sight. You should not be able to see it. It should go digitally, automatically, as soon as it comes. Maybe next day, if your salary comes on 27th, set a direct debit for the 28th, yeah, or something very close by, whenever your salary comes, as you are aware of it. So on the same day or the next day, if the money goes out of your account, it is out of sight. You don't have access to it, and that is very, very important. And the habit of saving is important. I'm very much focusing on the habit. This is what will generate the habit. Starting with a mental equivalent, you write down the goal, whether weekly, daily, monthly, just once, doesn't matter. Whatever the number is, I'll save 10 pounds, 10% of your income is the goal. I save, and it has to be in positive and present tense. That's how goals work. I save 10 pounds per month. So whatever is your equivalent, you write down in the same lines. You can start with 1%, continue to 10%, and more if you can. Savings do go up if you even save more than 10%. It happens. So it has happened in my case also, I know that. So, and then the behavioral change will happen. You can start budgeting, planning, but yeah, and splitting across, basically just giving it to your eyes, the brain, the information, the food for thought, the split of where the monies are going. Worst case scenario, if you don't want to make a Excel sheet or something or spreadsheet, look at your bank statement or a credit card statement, whichever you used to spend. Look at that and you will get an idea where you can cut it. You can cross out on the statement if you want to. That's another good way to do it. Physical result. Once these things happen, and it may happen that you just write down the goal in the first month, in the second month, in the third month. There is that cognitive dissonance that happens in the brain. Over a period of time, your brain will start doing things in behavior, and then you will see the real results. It takes time. Sometimes it takes 1 week, a month, 2 months, depending on how bad you have been in this area. That's how it works. So, but somewhere at some point it breaks and the physical results are seen. At some point it will break, but your job is to write down your goals, preferably every day, every week at least. You can, it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm just referring to the savings goals. And if you take this model, yes, it is possible. Keep it out of sight, and everything I have covered. Drip feed, yeah, this is for investments. If you are thinking of investments every month, every quarter, whatever that is, every month, every 15 days, it has to feed in small portions, and then long term. So if you are thinking of investment, they should be long term. I'll get into other videos about all those matters, but this is very, very important to start a saving habit, or you have been struggling with savings. It is very important. First, you do a mental equivalent, you write down your goals, and in the positive and present tense, behavioral change happens, and then you continue on to the physical world. The numbers don't matter. It can be 1 pound, it can be 10 pounds, it can be 100, it can be 100,000. That is completely irrelevant. The habit and the regular habit is very, very important. And just want to check, I have covered everything. Yeah, I have covered everything on whatever I wanted to cover in this video. And yeah, if you do like this video, it has helped you, do write in the comments what you have decided. If this video helped you, or whatever is your own saving habit, do talk about it in the comment section. And subscribe to this channel and like this video if you did like it. If you have any comments, do write down. Thank you very much.